How does it feel to receive the Variety Artisans Award here at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival?
Well, it's great. It's always great to get acknowledged, and I mean, I'm in a pretty good crew. I mean, there's a lot of other nominees that are here tonight, and so I don't know if you know this, but today was the nominees luncheon, so we all ate our lunch and then got in the car and drove up to Santa Barbara.
Oh, well, we're so grateful you came.
but we like Santa Barbara. My wife and I have been here many times. It's a lovely city. Try to go here as many times as we can.
Oh, we're glad to hear that. That's very special. What was your reaction when you found out that you would be working on a sequel to an iconic film like Blade Runner?
Well, it's early on. Everyone knew that the movie was really special, like the original, and so we sort of lived for 2 years of everyone, all our friends saying, it better be good, right? And so, but early on we knew that, we all loved the first movie. It was really a linchpin movie for many people, certainly in special effects and certainly in science fiction. But we always knew that we were going to make a different movie. And fortunately for us, just like in the first movie, had a brilliant painter painting the picture, Ridley Scott, we had Denis Villeneuve, who's a brilliant director. And working for him, I mean, his vision is seen in every frame of that film, right? Especially the visual effects, So, and for Denis, it was all about reining it in and making it feel more personal and just not so spectacle for spectacle's sake, but really just to echo the story and rein it in.
Well, you're talking about working with Denis. How about working with Roger Deakins?
Oh, Roger's awesome. I mean, Roger is. I consider myself a workaholic and really knows the grindstone guy, but Roger's sense of dedication makes I pale in comparison. But Roger makes everything look great. And in our movie, we really tried to build as much set as we could. And we had a brilliant DP, so we allow him to light as much as he can light the sets that we have. But the environments that we were making were so big and so elaborate that virtually every wide shot in the movie is a visual effect. Now with that, it's really great to have the basis of Roger's lighting, because then we extrapolate that out to total CG shots or partial CG shots built on top of aerial plates and whatnot. But working with Roger was great. He's fantastic, and he really helped out. Even in post, he came in and helped review shots and give us his idea of how the light would fall, and it's just, he's brilliant.
Well, some of the most amazing scenes, one of the most amazing scenes was the scene where Joy sinks with Mariette.
Yes,
Can you talk about creating that? That's, for some of us, that was just mind-blowing.
Well, that's my favorite scene in the movie, and it was really hard to, because first when we did it, we first came up and said, okay, how are we going to put them together? It's a very tight space, and plus we couldn't get in front of Roger's lights because it's a very tight space. So we would shoot each woman separately, and then we had, in all the corners of the rooms, we had witness cameras that would track the women, and then we'd go in and create CG surrogates of the women. Then we would project the photographic plates of the women onto the CG surrogates, and then we would merge them together. And I think, once just getting the plates, like what we would do is we'd shoot Mariette first, then Denis would pick a take. Then I would say, okay, I need like 5 minutes with script soup, and with Jessica the script soup, and I would go through it. Like at 2 seconds she raises his hand, at 3 seconds she touches his head, and then I would go in and put a iPad in front of Ryan's face and say, okay, Anna, look at this. Now move over, move to the left, move to the right, until I got their eyes to line up, because it's a really special moment when their eyes line up for me, right? It's magic, right? And so I get their eyes to line up, then I'd say, okay, I pull down the iPad and say, okay, we're going, right? And then we'd go and we would literally say, okay, Anna, now get ready, you're raising your hand, now raise your hand, now touch him. And because people aren't machines, there were moments when they would line up and moments when they wouldn't. But once we mapped them onto CG geometry, we could make them line up better. But one of the big things that we did is we didn't want her to just sink like that and be dead in sync. We always want a little bit of slop, and and we always, it's at least through the whole scene, I definitely wanted it to be like the shots, several shots to start out of sync but end in sync, out of sync, end in sync, so it would build, right, to the moment where at the end he pulls her to her, and then the eyes line up like 2 or 3 times, and it's just like, wow.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah, yeah.
Another effect. What were the challenges in digitally rejuvenating Sean Young back to the 1982 Sean Young?
Well, Sean is seriously in Blade Runner. She was 20, I think 20 years old, and she is one of the most beautiful women, and I believe, for me, in the history of cinema. And so I got into like analyzing her face like at a major level. I learned a lot about makeup, but what we did is we built a digital head from the neck up. I knew early on we were going to do a neck replacement, so we cast a woman actress, an English actress, Lauren Pita, and put her in full hair and makeup. But then from above the neck, from the neckline up, we replaced it, and we went in and scanned Sean Sean of today. We scanned Lauren, and then we also found a life mask from Sean when she was about 28. And we scanned that. We built all the underneath muscles in Sean's face and skeletons, and then we wrapped it in skin. But then we really started getting into the details, the subtle details of like small, minute blemishes and whatnot. And when somebody's 20, they have blemishes, but it makes things look real. And even with, I don't have very much hair, but even with like, we did a full digital hair groom, and we left some of the hairs fly away for more realism. And so one of the things we did is early on we showed that to producers and director Denis, and they said, well, it looks like Sean, a girl that looks like Sean, but it's not Sean. So I went back, I drilled into how much Sean's eyes sort of stick out of her face, because she has an unusual face, not like beauty pageant pretty. It's a deeper beauty, right? And so her eyes stick out, and she has asymmetrical part of her face. And also I learned about 80s makeup from lots of women, like what's with the 80s makeup, and to get the little red lipstick and the little corner of her mouth and whatnot, the bee sting or whatever they call it. And then I went back with the guys at MPC in Montreal who did the work. Richard Clegg was my guy up there, and we took 3 scenes from the original Blade Runner, or three scenes, and then we replaced one shot in each of those scenes with the digital double. And then we showed it to the producers and Denis again. And they asked me, they said, well, why are we looking at this? And I said, you're looking at it because one of the shots is the digital double. And they went, whoa, you should have told us. And I said, well, that's the point, right? And so then we had her looking like Sean, but then we needed to make her act like Sean. And so what we did is we went back to the original movie, and we found there's a moment in the original movie, it's like the iconic moment when Sean comes out and meets Deckard, and he goes, is that owl expensive? And she goes, very. Is that all artificially? Goes, yes. And is it expensive? And she goes, very. I'm Rachel. And she's really confident and really beautiful. And she thinks she's the niece of the richest man in the world, right? And very smart, right? And so when she came out, I had her have this confidence when she came out. And then when she got to meet Deckard, Denis said, it's like two people who haven't seen each other for a long time and see each other at a train station. The emotion just comes out. So she went from confident to longing to rejection. And what we did is we found those moments in the original Blade Runner and tried to take those and put those into our movie, and at the same time we did facial motion capture with Sean and with Lauren. But I think matching those original moments from Sean as Rachel, not as Sean as No Way Out or any other great movie that Sean had done. But we matched those moments, and then we also used the facial capture from Sean as well to bring us through that.
It was just so amazing. What's next for you?
Next, I promised my wife that I will take 6 months off because I did 2 movies in a row, and then I have to do a lot of stuff around my house and fix up my house, and then we'll see. Like in the summer, we'll see. Denis is prepping a new movie. We'll see. You know what I mean? But I can't say enough. Every frame reflects the vision of Denis Villeneuve, and he is a master filmmaker, and it was an absolute joy to work with him, and he pulled the film right out of his heart.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yep, no problem.
Congratulations
Yeah,
on
thank
tonight.
You. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.